Double your push-up strength in a week when you apply these tension techniques to your intra-abdominal pressure, core engagement, glute tension, grip, and shoulder locking. Tension equals strength, and the inability to produce tension is the #1 reason that you don't have a strong push-up yet. But we're going to change that in 1 week. So let's kick off with core engagement, because without that locked-in core, your push-ups are leaking power everywhere. Forget sucking in your abs. That's just for those mirror selfies that nobody really needs. In the Unified Movement System, we teach you how to build a rigid torso that locks your whole body into this unbreakable chain for transferring force. Here's how you nail it. Lie flat on the ground and drive your lower back into the floor. Feel that? Your abs fire up. They tighten into this straight armored plank. This isn't flexing for the gram. It's firing your entire midsection, abs to lower back, creating that total stability. In push-ups, it stops your hips from sagging and channels every bit of chest and tricep power straight down. No wobble, no waste. All right, next up, glute tension. Your glutes aren't just for squats, they're this secret weapon for push-up stability, locking down that lower chain so your upper body can really explode. Squeeze them like you're clamping a quarter between your cheeks. No half measures here. Pavel Tsatsouline teaches this in The Naked Warrior as pre-tensing the posterior chain to build that full body rigidity, stopping your hips from dipping and stealing your leverage. Next is intra-abdominal pressure. It's your internal force multiplier, the thing that turns average push-ups into these superhuman presses. This part sounds really weird, I know. You probably haven't heard anything like it before, but trust me, this works. See, I practiced Kung Fu for 15 years, and this is straight out of those techniques I learned back then. But the Kung Fu explanations, wishy-washy and hard to decipher. So I'm giving you a much clearer breakdown here. First off, suck up your sphincter like you're trying to stop yourself doing a poo, and hold it there. Now breathe from your diaphragm. It works by pushing your guts down and out, drawing air in by expanding your stomach, not your chest. To practice, put one hand on your chest and one on your stomach. Breathe in, and you should feel and see the hand on your stomach rise, but the one on your chest, it doesn't move. That's the drill. Fill your lungs no more than 70%, because if you push it too far, you'll lose that brace. And the last piece, once you've got the sphincter sucked in and your stomach expanded from the diaphragmatic breath, now you feel like you're trying to do a poo, pushing out through your anus. Yeah, I know, it's a totally bizarre feeling and explanation. Sucking in your sphincter while you're also pushing out like you're doing a poo and forcing your breath down. But those three things together create the intra-abdominal pressure. It pumps that pressure right through your trunk, firing every nerve ending in your gut like 1,000 tiny electrodes. And it spikes your strength by up to 20%. Your central nervous system figures that you're bracing for a gut punch, so every fiber contracts harder. Give it a shot. Suck, breathe the belly out, push, and boom, your torso turns to steel. Or you'll shit yourself, which will be really funny to see. Let me know how it goes for you. If you want to learn strength and flexibility techniques beyond the push-up, we teach it all in the Unified Movement System. I've made a great video explaining it, links in the description. Now that your trunk's this pressurized fortress, let's crank those upper body anchors with grip. A loose grip, it's like driving on flat tires. Your power just spins out everywhere. But grip the ground hard, like you're trying to tear the floor under your fingers, and that's where the magic kicks in. So claw in deep, spread your fingers wide, and then crush them down like you're uprooting a stump. This isn't just about hand strength. The harder you grip in any strength movement, the more your nervous system fires up your rotator cuff, the muscles slinging around your humeral head in your shoulder, keeping everything socketed and rock solid. That squeeze in the forearms, it sends shockwaves of tension out, waking up your lats, your traps, even those chest fibers through irradiation. Nerves light up like a switchboard, increasing strength potential right away. So your press goes from effortful to explosive. Try it now. You can't grip as hard as you can without creating tension right through your arms and into your shoulders. That's irradiation. Why does this double your potential? Without it, your shoulders float loose, leaking force and tweaking things left to right. But with a locked grip, it turns your arms into these rigid pistons, channeling every drop of core torque straight to the floor. Last piece of the puzzle, shoulder locking. So picture snapping a thick wooden stick over your knee. Grab it firm at both ends, drive your knee up hard, and that yanks your shoulders down and back, yeah? When you mimic snapping a thick wooden stick over your knee, this cue creates explosive upper body tension. It depresses your scapula, so pulling your shoulder blades downward like slamming them into your back pockets, instantly firing the lats into a vice-like contraction that forms a stable shelf under your shoulders. This lat lockdown stabilizes the entire shoulder girdle, engaging the rotator cuff muscles even more and preventing grind or wobble under load. The internal elbow rotation, twisting as if you're breaking the stick, aligns your elbows under the shoulders, channeling force straight through without that side-to-side shear. Overall, it irradiates tension upward to the traps and downward to the core, turning your upper body into a rigid kinetic chain that boosts pressing power by 20 to 30% while slashing injury risk. In push-ups, it's the difference between flailing and flying, pure unbreakable stability. Try a push-up without gripping the ground or breaking the metaphorical stick. Pause at the bottom before you push up. Take note of how that feels, shaky, unstable, like you're fighting your own body. Now do another one. Pause at the bottom. Grip the ground hard and internally rotate those elbows like you're breaking the stick over your knee. You'll feel it immediately, a force trying to shove you away from the ground. That's the tension surge, pure power just begging to explode. Now add in the core and glutes tension and the intra-abdominal pressure, and you'll feel an immediate increase in strength. Now, here's how we harness all these techniques, because yeah, it's a lot to wrap your head around at first. Strength is a skill. You got to practice it like you drill piano scales or a golf swing. So we're using grease the groove method here. You'll hit push-up practice for 6 to 10 sets a day, 4 to 6 days a week. No equipment needed. You can knock it out anywhere, in the living room, the office, even sneaking in between meetings. Here are the rules. First, figure out your max reps on a push-up. Pick a variation that you can bang out between 5 to 10 reps with good technique. We're not going to muscle failure here. If you're over 10, make it tougher, like a deficit push-up. And if you can't hit 5, ease it up by elevating your hands. Once you've got your version and that max number, with Grease the Groove, you only do 50% of those reps, and every single one is flawless, full tension, and no shortcuts. Rest at least 10 minutes between sets, and for best results, spread them throughout the day. But don't do any 3 hours before bed or you'll interfere with your circadian rhythm. So why does Grease the Groove work so damn well? Because strength really is a skill, and the more you practice it fresh, the sharper you get. Picture this. One guy, he grinds out 5 brutal sets in one workout, each set to failure, training it 2 to 3 days a week. Muscles howling, form crumbling for the last few reps, and that leads to plateaus. The other guy, he spreads those sub-max sets all day, crisp, explosive every time. Weeks later, his nervous system rewires for pure efficiency, recruiting the nervous system and muscle fibers like a marksman nailing a bullseye. Your push-ups shift from grind to groove. Neural pathways honing so tension fires on autopilot. And pretty quickly, your 50% set feels like a joke and you can move to a harder progression. But never do more than 5 reps in a set. This is strength training. We've just covered technique optimization for the push-up, which is one of the 9 tools we use in the Unified Movement System. If you want to see a video where I break down all 9 tools, click or tap the screen there, and I'll see you in that next video.